Stop what you're eating right now. I mean it. If you're over 60, the food sitting on your plate right now might be doing more harm than you ever imagined. Most people believe that aging is what causes the slow decline in energy, memory, and overall health. But what if I told you that some of the most common foods you eat every day are quietly accelerating that decline from the inside out? What if the problem is not your age, but what you're still putting into your body without questioning it? Over the next few minutes, I'm going to show you 7 foods that could be silently damaging your body after 60, even if they look harmless on the surface. And you need to pay close attention because food number 2 is something you probably eat almost every single day, and food number 1 is the most dangerous and widely consumed item on this list. By the time you finish this video, you'll never look at your kitchen the same way again. Right now, your health is being shaped by choices you're not even thinking about. Let's change that starting today, because your future health depends on this. For more than 3 decades, I've studied how the human body changes with age, not just on the surface, but deep at the cellular level where real health is determined. I've sat across from hundreds of people in their 60s, 70 seconds, even 80 seconds, who believed their declining health was simply the price of getting older. But what I've learned through research and real-life observation tells a very different story. A major study published by leading health researchers found that over 40% of chronic disease risk is directly linked to long-term dietary habits, not genetics, not bad luck, daily choices. And here's where it becomes critical for you. After the age of 60, your body no longer processes food the way it once did. Your metabolism slows, your liver becomes less efficient at clearing toxins, and your immune system loses some of its ability to defend you. That means foods you could tolerate in your 30s or 40 seconds can now quietly create inflammation, disrupt your hormones, and weaken your system over time. The damage doesn't happen overnight. It builds silently, meal after meal, year after year, until one day it shows up as something serious, and most people never connect it back to what they've been eating all along. That's why this matters more than you think. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something personal. How old are you right now? And more importantly, which of these foods do you find yourself eating almost every day without thinking twice about it? Be honest with yourself. You might already have a few in mind. Go ahead and share it in the comments below. I read every single comment and your answers genuinely matter. They help shape what I talk about next, and more importantly, they remind you that you're not alone in this. There are thousands of people just like you trying to make better choices starting today. Let's start with something that doesn't seem dangerous at all, something many people consider convenient, even harmless: processed deli meats. That slice of ham in your sandwich, the turkey you roll up for a quick snack, the sausages sitting in your refrigerator. It feels simple, easy, familiar, but behind that convenience is a quiet problem most people never stop to question. These meats are loaded with preservatives like nitrates and nitrites, chemicals designed to extend shelf life and enhance color. In a younger body, your system might handle small amounts without noticeable effects. But after 60, your body doesn't process these compounds as efficiently. Your detox systems slow down, and those same chemicals begin to linger longer than they should. Over time, this creates a subtle but constant state of internal stress. It's not something you feel immediately. There's no alarm, no sudden pain, just a slow buildup that contributes to inflammation and cellular damage. And because it happens quietly, it becomes part of your routine without ever raising concern. That's what makes it dangerous. The good news is, this is one of the easiest changes you can make. Replace processed meats with fresh, unprocessed protein whenever possible. Grilled chicken, boiled eggs, even simple home-cooked options can make a meaningful difference. It's not about perfection, it's about becoming aware of what your body is dealing with behind the scenes and choosing better, one meal at a time. Now let's talk about something that feels almost routine, something many people start their day with without a second thought: sugary breakfast cereals. They're quick, familiar, and often marketed as healthy, especially the ones labeled whole grain or low fat. But what actually happens inside your body after you eat them is very different. From what you've been led to believe, these cereals are packed with refined sugars that hit your bloodstream almost immediately. Your blood sugar rises fast, giving you a short burst of energy, but just as quickly, it crashes. And after 60, your body struggles even more to regulate those swings. I remember a man named Robert, 68 years old, who told me he felt tired every morning by AM, no matter how much he slept. He thought it was just aging catching up with him, but when we looked at his routine, his breakfast was always the same: a bowl of cereal and milk. Once he replaced it with something more balanced, his energy stabilized within weeks. The difference surprised him. These spikes and crashes don't just affect energy. Over time, they strain your metabolism and contribute to long-term damage. The shift is simple but powerful, and it starts with rethinking how you begin your morning. Now, here's where things get a little uncomfortable because this next one challenges something many people have believed for years: low fat processed foods. For decades, you've been told that cutting fat is the key to staying healthy, especially as you get older. So you reach for low fat yogurt, low fat snacks, low fat everything, thinking you're making the smarter choice. But what most people don't realize is what manufacturers add to make those foods taste good again once the fat is removed. When fat is taken out, flavor disappears, and to compensate, sugar is added. Sometimes a lot of it. What looks like a healthy option on the label often hides ingredients that spike your blood sugar, disrupt your metabolism, and leave you feeling unsatisfied. After 60, this matters even more because your body becomes more sensitive to these imbalances. Instead of helping you stay healthy, these foods can quietly push your system in the wrong direction. It's a frustrating realization, especially when you've been trying to do the right thing all along. But this is exactly how misleading labels work. They give you just enough truth to feel safe while hiding what actually matters. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, and that awareness alone can change the way you choose your food from this point forward. Now let's move into something even more overlooked, something that doesn't come from the food itself, but from what it touches. Food stored or heated in plastic, it seems harmless, doesn't it? You warm up leftovers in a plastic container, cover your plate with plastic wrap, or drink from a bottle that's been sitting in the sun. It feels normal because everyone does it, but what most people don't realize is what happens when plastic meets heat. When plastic is exposed to heat, it begins to break down at a microscopic level. Tiny chemical particles, invisible to the eye, start leaching into your food. These chemicals don't just pass through your body, they interact with it. Some of them mimic hormones, especially estrogen, disrupting the delicate balance your body works hard to maintain. After 60, your hormonal system is already more sensitive, less resilient. Introducing these compounds regularly is like quietly interfering with signals your body depends on to function properly. Think of it like this. Imagine your body as a finely tuned orchestra, each system playing its part in harmony. Now picture someone slowly walking through that orchestra, detuning instruments one by one. Not enough to stop the music immediately, but enough that over time everything sounds off. That's what repeated exposure to these chemicals can do. It doesn't create instant chaos, it creates gradual dysfunction. And because there's no immediate reaction, no warning sign, it becomes part of your daily routine without question. That's the real danger. The solution isn't complicated, but it does require awareness. Switching to glass or ceramic, avoiding heat with plastic. These small changes begin to remove a source of damage you may never have considered before. Now we're stepping into something far more serious because this next one doesn't just sit quietly in the background, it actively accelerates the aging process over time. Refined vegetable oils, they're everywhere. In your cooking, in packaged foods, in restaurant meals, oils like soybean, corn, and sunflower oil are often promoted as heart healthy, but the reality is much more complicated, especially after 60. These oils are highly processed and rich in omega-6 fatty acids. In small amounts, your body can handle them, but in excess, which is how most people consume them today, they create a state of chronic inflammation. And inflammation is not just discomfort or swelling, it's a slow-burning internal fire that damages tissues, disrupts cellular function, and accelerates aging at a level you can't see. I remember a woman named Margaret, 72, who came to me frustrated with constant joint pain and fatigue. She believed she was eating well, cooking most of her meals at home, but when we looked closely, nearly every dish she made used vegetable oil. Once she switched to more stable fats and reduced her intake of processed oils, her inflammation markers began to drop. Within a few months, she felt lighter, more mobile, more like herself again. That's the thing about inflammation. It builds silently. You don't notice it until it becomes part of your daily experience, and by then it's been shaping your health for years. Recognizing it now gives you a chance to interrupt that process before it goes further. Now we've reached the point I asked you to wait for, and this one tends to catch people off guard. Flavored yogurt and so-called healthy snacks. The kind you pick up thinking you're doing something good for your body. The kind you've probably trusted for years without question. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Many of these products are loaded with hidden sugars, carefully disguised under names that sound harmless or even beneficial. You read the label and see words like fruit blend, natural flavor, or low fat, and it creates a sense of safety. But behind that, there can be more sugar in a single serving than a dessert. After 60, your body doesn't respond to sugar the way it once did. It leads to sharper spikes in blood glucose, more strain on your metabolism, and a higher likelihood of fat storage, especially around vital organs. What makes this so powerful is not just the effect, but the belief behind it. You've been eating this thinking it's helping you, thinking it's part of a healthy routine. That sense of trust is what makes the realization hit harder. It's not just about what the food does, it's about the fact that it's been quietly working against you, while you believe the opposite. This is the kind of discovery that shifts how you see everything in your kitchen, because once you recognize how easily something can be presented as healthy while doing the exact opposite, you begin to question more, and that's where real change begins. And now we come to the one that ties everything together, the most dangerous food on this list, not because of one ingredient, but because of what it represents as a whole, ultra-processed foods. These are not just the obvious junk foods you already suspect. They include packaged meals, flavored snacks, ready-to-eat products, and even items marketed as convenient health options. Anything that has been heavily altered from its original form and filled with additives, preservatives, and artificial compounds. The danger here runs deeper than most people realize. These foods are engineered for taste and convenience, not for your biology. Inside your body, they begin to disrupt your gut, the place where your immune system, metabolism, and even your brain health are closely connected. After 60, your gut becomes more fragile, more sensitive. To imbalance, ultra-processed foods feed harmful bacteria while starving the beneficial ones your body relies on. Over time, this creates inflammation, weakens your immune defenses, and opens the door to more serious conditions, including chronic disease. I once spoke with a man named David, 70 years old, who believed he was eating reasonably well. He avoided obvious junk food but relied heavily on packaged meals for convenience. When his health began to decline, he couldn't understand why. It wasn't until we examined the level of processing in his daily diet that the picture became clear. Once he shifted towards simpler, whole foods, the changes were gradual but undeniable. His digestion improved, his energy returned, and most importantly, he felt a sense of control he hadn't experienced in years. This is where it becomes personal, because this isn't just about food anymore. It's about the environment you're creating inside your body every single day, and whether that environment supports your future or slowly works against it. Now, here's the part most people need to hear after everything we've just covered. You are not stuck. None of this is permanent, and no matter how long these habits have been part of your routine, you can begin changing them starting today. This isn't about perfection or completely overhauling your life overnight. It's about small, intentional shifts that slowly move your body back into balance. Instead of processed meats, choose fresh, simple proteins. Instead of sugary cereals, start your morning with something that keeps your energy steady. Replace low-fat processed foods with real, whole ingredients that your body actually recognizes. Swap plastic containers for glass or ceramic when you can. Use healthier cooking fats. Choose plain yogurt over flavored versions and add your own natural ingredients. These are not complicated changes, but they are powerful ones. What matters most is not doing everything at once, but doing something consistently. Each better choice sends a different message to your body, one that says you're paying attention now, one that says you're taking back control, and over time, those small decisions begin to add up in ways you can feel, not just physically, but mentally. Because knowing you're doing something good for yourself changes how you carry yourself every day. I want you to think about what all of this really means beyond the food itself. It's not just about avoiding certain items or following rules. It's about the kind of life you want to continue living, the ability to wake up with energy, to move freely without constant discomfort, to think clearly, to enjoy conversations, to remember moments that matter. These are not small things. They are your independence. They are your dignity. Too often, people reach a certain age and quietly accept decline as something unavoidable. They start believing that feeling tired, foggy, or limited is just part of the process. But that belief slowly takes something away from you. It lowers your expectations for your own life. And the truth is, your body is still capable of responding, still capable of improving even now. It is not too late, not at 60, not at 70, not even beyond that. What you do from this point forward still matters. Every choice you make is a signal to your body, a direction, and when you begin choosing differently, even in small ways, you begin to rebuild something important. Not just your health, but your sense of control over your own life. That is something worth protecting. Before you go, I want to hear from you. Which of these foods surprised you the most? And be honest with yourself, which one are you going to stop or change starting today? Go down into the comments and share it. That simple decision, putting it in 2 words, makes it real. It turns intention into action. And if this opened your eyes even a little, take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Not for me, but so you don't miss the kind of information that can genuinely change how you feel day to day. There are more people out there who need to hear this. Friends, family, someone you care about. Share this with them. Sometimes one piece of information at the right time can shift everything. You're not alone in this. We're building something here, a group of people who are choosing to stay aware, stay intentional, and take control of their health one step at a time.